Welcome to the Align Life podcast by yours truly, Dr. Tiffany. How about we get out that magnifying glass and look at every part of your life, the awesome, the suck, and everything in between. There's so much beauty in you. Stop being afraid of what isn't good enough and let's double down on what is together. It's about your truth and your life, aligned.
Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about, have you lost faith in your body? And although this is probably relevant a lot of the time, it's more relevant now in our office because stress is really high. Stress is really high in many different areas of our lives, and externally we're sensing a lot of that. Okay. I am not going to talk about that part of stress. We all know it. I want to be a light to talk about, all right, so if there is that going on, what else can I do? So I'm Dr. Tiffany Johnson, owner, chiropractor at Healing Touch Chiropractic. I'm coach and mentor online at the Align Life. And I've been in practice for 15 years. We have one of the biggest practices in the world, I think. That's what people say. But for sure, one of the biggest in the Midwest. And we see a lot of people. So I have my hands on thousands of people. And I get to see how those stress patterns are affecting their life. But more importantly, I get to see what happens when we start living with hope. And when hope enters into your body and enters into your brain, you start to see and do things differently. You start to see different perspectives. And when we have hope, we start to shift our mindset. And in the work that I do, mindset is a big component of it. I'm always teaching and leading and asking those questions of like, but why do you think like this or feel like this? Because instead of just expecting that that's just what it is, I'm actually interested in where you came from with that belief so that we can determine if that's even true. And when you can determine if it's true objectively, now you can start to heal and think a little bit differently. So we're going to talk about the 3 misconceptions of health, of healing, of growth, of expansion, of all of the things that embody how you show up in terms of health. Okay. So the first one, if you don't have symptoms, are you healthy? And if you feel like you want to write any of this down, I would highly suggest it. So number 1 is if you don't have symptoms, does that mean you're healthy? Number 2, don't worry. That's normal. Who in your life says that? How many times in a day do you think that? And where else do you observe that? And number 3, well, doctor knows best. Whatever that means to you. We're going to dig into these. First things first, if you don't have symptoms, are you healthy? If you were to write down that question on the top of the sheet of paper that you have, or that you're going to go find right now real fast, I would like you to write down all of the symptoms that you feel and that maybe you've ever felt. This takes a different brain because it takes a very objective way of looking at it, right? It's not an emotional thing. It's not a, oh my gosh, I feel so anxious. And now you can't think of anything other than that. But really, like, if you were to look into your body through a magnifying glass or a microscope and you don't have any emotion tied to it, what symptoms are you experiencing? And if there is none, there's probably not none. Okay. If there is none, shift your mind into, yeah, but what if I could do this? Because that will start to get you to think differently. And when we start to think differently, we start to prove that our old beliefs might not be true for us anymore. Okay. So symptomatology. The majority of organizations see a symptom and treat a symptom. See, treat. And all of a sudden, if we're not aware of what the symptom actually means, which the majority of people aren't, we definitely have no idea what our body's trying to tell us. So maybe you're one of the people that symptom treat has happened so many times that now you're taking 6 medications for the symptoms, but you don't have any symptoms anymore because the medication, the whatever treatment is patching it, it's numbing it, it is whatever. What would your life be like? What would your body feel like if you weren't taking that treatment for that symptom? Would it change? Would your body actually feel different? Would it actually look different? Yes. 110% yes. So if you were to write down all of the symptoms that you experience, treatment or no treatment, what do all those things say about your health? That's where I want you to start. Like, whoa, I've never actually put the whole puzzle together. I just have seen 3 pieces of the puzzle, or I've been chasing this one carrot that has led me down the rabbit hole over and over and over. But in the meantime, that rabbit hole, I haven't seen all these other things around it, because we're going to go to normal shortly. And when you think that what you're dealing with is normal, it puts you out of the place of making a solution, creating a solution, finding a solution, never stopping until you find a solution. So when you look at symptoms, if you have 10 there, let's say you have headaches, and let's say you have bloating after you eat, and you have seasonal allergies, and you don't feel rested when you wake up, and all of these things you start writing down, now you can see it as it is. And you can see it as a means of your body telling you something is imbalanced or something is off, or like, help, I'm talking to you. Because what happens when we symptom treat, we actually don't know what the body's trying to tell us. So we have this numbing or this avoidance energy that we're so damn scared of knowing what the body's trying to tell us that we're like, eyes closed, blinders on, just focus on what we're focusing on. But in this practice in life, I want to uncover all of it, because the only way anything can heal is if everything is uncovered, you guys. To keep something hidden from yourself, from somebody else, to not talk about something, to not admit that it's actually happening is not helping you. It's like the one of the stages of mindset here is, well, I'm not going to tell anybody. I mean, like, everybody else has it worse. My neighbor has it worse. She has cancer. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to keep on going. That adrenaline just totally fuels you. Yeah, well, in the meantime, these whispers and these nudges and these signals that your body is trying to tell you that something is out of balance or needs healing or is calling for attention, you don't even hear. Because your brain is so on crack and it's so busy, and it's coming from a lack mindset of never having enough, not being good enough, not working well enough, whatever, that you aren't even seeing the signals because you're scared of them. Now, what would happen if we just uncover all of them? Let's just put them on the table, put them on your piece of paper, put them out there and say, you know what, if I could have it in a perfect world, if I could have great health, because let me tell you, great life doesn't come from mediocre health. Great wealth doesn't come from mediocre health. Great mindset, great intuition, great anything doesn't come from mediocre or crappy health. You have to take care of what you got first so that you can give more of what you got to everyone else around you. That was terrible grammar. What you got. So when we look at number 2, don't worry, that's normal, and you're talking about what your symptoms are, the majority of people say, like, I've had seasonal allergies for 10 years. And I say, what if you wouldn't have to? And they say, whoa, I've actually never thought about that. I've had sweaty palms for 20 years, but what if you wouldn't have to? I've had depression. My mom's had depression. My sisters have had depression. My grandma. But what if you didn't have to? What if what your body's trying to tell you is something different? What if you could find a solution that was right for you, that didn't involve a treatment with something else from the outside of your body? And what if you thought through that solution and you freaking knew that it's time for me to do something different? This is how we practice. What would happen if it wouldn't be normal? What would happen if high blood pressure didn't run in your family? what would happen? What would your life be like? How would it be different? Because the crazy ideas is where the genius is. When you start asking yourself, yeah, but what if did it? When you have hope and you are finding a solution that is in conjunction with how your body's supposed to be, how it's supposed to heal, how your brain is supposed to be. Because, sidebar, a brain is not supposed to be stressed. We're supposed to ebb and flow through fight or flight responses, because that ebb and flow continues to keep us safe when we're unsafe. But what's happening to people's brains right now is that it's always stressed. If you feel like you're always running from a bear, you're going to get a heightened response for everything. You're either going to be anxious, zippy on the high end, or you're going to be helpless and hopeless on the low end. And that's the mental part. That's the emotional part. We have 4 bodies in us. We have physical body, we have an emotional body, we have a mental body, and we have a spiritual body. Are you tending to all of your bodies? Or are you just symptom treat? Because if you are that, I give you permission to break the cycle. You can totally break it whenever you want to. And frankly, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. If your spouse is like, not really sure that this is the right option for you, you say, well, honky, this is my body. This is how I need to be the best that I can in my body. Because it's supposed to work. It's supposed to heal. It's supposed to grow. It's supposed to adapt. It's supposed to be resilient. And if you're having any of those experiences that are less than awesome, then you're in stressed brain. A stressed brain will always give you a stressed body. When you have tight muscles, you have poor posture, you have a stressed brain. You don't just have tight muscles. When your gut isn't working right, when you're having a hard time breathing, you have a stressed brain. When you can start to get to that point, when we can start to see that, oh my gosh, maybe it doesn't have to be like that, you start to find solutions. So number 3, doctor knows best. What happens? What happens when you go to the doctor and they say, by the time you're 40, you can expect XYZ. When a baby is about 3 months is when they grow out of colic. Yeah, breast milk isn't always the best for your baby. You should just switch to formula. Allergies are normal. So here's some Zantac for your 5-year-old child when he has itchy nose and eyes and drippy eyes and sinus pressure. What if the doctor knew best because you were the doctor? When I communicate and share my perspective with people on my table that I'm adjusting, I always believe that you have 100% of the answers. Now, sometimes I'm the conduit of messaging because you might be numb, you might be overwhelmed, you might be all of these imbalances that we've already talked about. So sometimes it helps when another person objectively can be like, hey, have you thought about this? Or, hey, have you breathed at all today? Hey, it feels like you're really uncomfortable or anxious and you're having a hard time breathing. You're having a hard time thinking. Sometimes we just need that other human to be an objective magnifying glass for us so that we know that, oh my, I just totally got used to what this normal was. Mondays, most people's bodies are more disconnected than any other day of the week. Well, why is that? I don't know. You guys can figure that out for yourself. But why is it if you feel stressed and you feel overwhelmed and you feel anxious and you feel bleh on Mondays, what is the difference between a Monday and a Friday? And if there's that big of a difference, then we need to work on what lights you up. Because if we're living for the weekends, we got our shit wrong. It's wrong. It's broken. We were put on this earth to be a light and to give our gifts to everybody around us. And so if we're in a place of not being able to do that, that's when you know you need to find somebody that helps that come out. That's what we get to be. It's like the most magic work ever is when the lights turn on finally, when you finally have an ounce of hope and you know what, I'm just going to hang my hat on my hook. And she's going to ride me through for a little bit until I have more confidence, until I have more certainty, until I feel a little bit better that I can take more personal responsibility for me, my health, my life. That's what we get to be. And I get to just like ride you on my back for a while, little piggybacks. I'm not going to hold you there for long because I get to see in your body when you're starting to embody more of who you are and you're not stuck in the symptom treat. You're not settling for normal being sucky, and you start to trust you as being the doctor. When you are the doctor, you listen because doctor means teacher. What if, oh my gosh, what if you could see your body as teaching your brain what to do next, how to feel, how to process? But what happens is our brain is so full, right? And we have got all these crisscross applesauce messages going in different directions that you're not even sure what you should listen to. And if intuition is the gut, it is the master voice, and it's the main voice. If that intuition is whispering and kind of nudging you and maybe just a little poke, you don't hear it, you don't feel it, you don't see it. And that's because your brain is on crack. Your brain has been programmed to run on octane. It's been programmed to be busy. If you're not busy, you don't feel like you're worth anything. It's been programmed to be loud because if you're quiet, oh my gosh, I don't think I want to hang out with my thoughts right now. Those are all the things I hear. So one of the reasons I want to tell stories like this is to give evidence that there are different perspectives on healing. There's different perspectives on chiropractic. There's different philosophies on what I believe can happen in your body. I always, always, always approach your life, your body as brilliance because it is totally doing what you've been telling it to do. So now the result of what you have is just what you've been telling it. There's no surprises. What if we can tell it something different? What if we can bring ease into the brain and into the body? And you can maybe feel calm when you have a conversation with your spouse. Or maybe you're not always in high gear when you're going to work and like this, like, I can just see like the spinning top, right? What if your life could be more like that? What if you didn't have symptom treatment because a few symptoms pop up? You have clear connection between your brain and your body, and it tells you to rest. It tells you to be with your friends. It tells you to go color. It tells you to spend time with your dogs. I don't know, whatever it's telling you, it's whispering, it's nudging, it's poking, and that's the main voice. That's intuition. But when we have stressy, busy brain, we don't feel that. What if you would start to see those few symptoms as not normal, but messages that your body's giving you? Your job then is nothing other than finding a solution for them and listening to what your intuition's telling you. And what if you totally trusted yourself that you know best? What if you just knew that you know best? When you're told to do something, when you're given a sign that the body is imbalanced or that it's totally balanced, that when it's disconnected and when it's connected, that you know what to do next. That's the beauty of healing. You are the doctor. You are in the driver's seat. You are the one personally responsible for making a decision to not settle for normal and to not listen to the symptoms and what your body's trying to tell you. On Monday, I had a gal say, "Why did I not know that you lived in Fargo?" I don't know. Because I've been looking for a holistic healer since we left Colorado. And that was years ago. These are the things that I'm being asked very frequently. And that's why it's so important to get out there and to give a different perspective on not only what chiropractic is, but what health is and what healing is, and to help you maybe decide or create a priority for what order you want to go in to be better. And health is the foundation. But man, like, you deserve all of it. What if you believed that you deserved all of it? What if you didn't settle for average or mediocre or sick or depressed or anxious or hurt? Because when that mindset shifts because of a little drop of hope, you'll never be the same. I always say you can't unsee what you just saw. You can't unfeel what you just felt. And that's that programming in our bodies that we need to trust. Quiet down, listen to, and then take action. We can go forever and just wait for, the sky to fall and money to fall in our hands. But until we have aligned action that's actually aligned to improving and being better, then things don't change. We don't just sit and wish for everything. Okay, so take action, be personally responsible, never settle for less than awesome, and know that you are worth way more than you're giving yourself credit for. And when we know that and believe that, our action starts to align with what kind of human we want to be, what kind of mom we want to be, what kind of wife we want to be, what kind of leader, CEO, tradesman we want to be. And we start to live that. That's just how you live. You can do it. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what any doctor has said. It doesn't matter how many symptoms you have. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Like, what if today you could just shake that Etch-a-Sketch and say, all right, here we go. This is what we got. I'm going to take action on X, Y, and Z. I'm going to be personally responsible for my current reality. I'm not going to blame it on anybody. And I'm not going to judge where I'm at. I'm just going to decide that this isn't where I want to be anymore. So we see thousands of you every month. I get to see thousands of bodies and energy fields and miracles. I mean, I call them miracles. I know there's science, but like, they are miracles to me of what that person didn't even believe could be true is happening. And it opens their eyes. It gives them hope to now be different and not have to settle for what was. So I love you, first of all. And I'm so damn grateful for chiropractic that allows me to use my gifts in everything that I do. And when I hear that people are struggling and they don't know what else to do because they're at the end of their rope, it makes me sad. It makes me frustrated at a lot of things and a lot of people. And it makes my mission stronger to be able to speak in stories that you guys can see that it can be different, and it will be different if you choose that you're worth it and take courage to make that decision. So once again, I'm Dr. Tiffany from Healing Touch in West Fargo, North Dakota. If you're interested in knowing more, learning more, if you need to find somebody that practices similar to me and where you are, if you're interested in coaching and mentoring, whatever, it's all transformation, let us know, message us. We are accepting new patients. And if you have any questions about that process or about where you're at, if you're not local, we will help you. My team will help you. I have an awesome team who's here to support everyone all the time. So once again, I love you. Know that settling isn't an option, and great and aligned and connected is where you're striving for. That's how you create more freedom. That's how you give more impact. And that's how you live in your purpose every single day. So, love you guys.
Thank you for listening and following the Align Life podcast with Dr. Tiffany. If you love this and can think of anyone who needs to hear about it, would you mind sharing with them? Find me online at drtiffanyjohnson.com, where you can find out more about my memberships, courses, mentoring, and any upcoming events. To learn more about chiropractic for you and your family, Go to htchiro.com and follow our social pages. I can't wait to connect with you soon, and until then, be you, be aligned.